Hi everyone and welcome back to the Crafty Yellow Camper, and today I have got a three-part pop-up card for you using the Archer's dies, which are these ones. They're actually called the Everyday Archer's dies, and as you can see they come in quite a lot of different sizes. So you've got lots of different options for matte layers and what have you. So I'm just gonna move some stuff off my desk and I'll show you how to make this. Now I've seen these quite a lot on the internet, and there was a lady called Diane Evans, I think she's called, Stamp with Diane Evans, that I actually saw demonstrate this. She's an American demonstrator, so I'm afraid the bits that you need to measure are in inches, but I've just realized that I've made a bit of an error on this one. If you can see, I've got more gap this side than that side, so there's something to just be mindful of. So it pops up like that, hopefully you can see that, and I'll turn it on its side with the use of these clever little boxes, which are really simple and easy to make, and on the next one with you I'll make sure I line it up properly. Okay, I'm just going to pop that one to one side and I will bring in the bits and pieces that I've got and talk you through them. So the first thing I've got is the Archers. So I've used the first, so if you number them going down from the biggest to the smallest, that is number 1, which is the biggest, and the matte layer for that is cut with number 2. And then we've gone on to arch number 3, so third one down from the biggest, and that doesn't have a matte layer because we're going to do some stamping on that. And then we've gone on to arch number, which if it did it would be number 4, but we're not putting a matte layer on there. Then we've gone down onto arch number 5 from the biggest, and then the matte layer for that is number 6. Okay, so what we're going to do, first of all, I'm going to take the actually no, I'm not going to do that, we'll do the boxes first. So then I've got 2 pieces of cardstock. Now I've used basic white thick for this. Basic white is not really heavy enough to give a good card base, so I've used, as I said, basic white thick. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've cut these, and these are cut at 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, so that one's square, and then this one is cut at 3 1/4 by 2 1/2 to give us the smaller box as the arches get smaller. So the first thing we're going to do is score this one. So each time we score, this is square, we're scoring along the 3 1/4 inches side. So our first score is 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to, oh, managed to shut my top in the trimmer. 3/4 of an inch there. And then we're going to 1 1/2 inches, and my trimmer blade seems to be determined to throw itself out of the track today. So that's 1 3/4 and 1 1/2, and then we're going to 2 1/4, and then to 3, and that will give us a little tab for gluing the cylinder together. Oh, see what I mean? It's determined to jump out. Right, on our other piece of paper, cardstock, whatever you like to call it, so that's the 3 by 3 piece we've just scored, and this is the 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. This is the 3 1/4 by 2 1/2. So we're scoring on the long side, on the 3 1/4 side. So exactly the same scores as before. So 3/4 of an inch, 1 1/2. Sorry, I just realised you can't actually see the top of my trimmer. Not that it really matters. And 2 1/4. And the flipping thing's falling out again. It really doesn't want to stay in the track today. Never normally have a problem with this. And again at 3. So as I said, that gives us that little tab. So I'm going to do those first, and we'll make those up so they can dry. Now, you could use double-sided tape. I'm going to use Tombow just for the ease of showing you. So the next thing to do is to burnish all of those folds. So they're all mountain folds because we want them all going in the same direction. So I'm just going to bring in my bone folder and give those a good burnished. Make sure we've got a nice square box. And where's the last one? This little tabby one. Okay, so that's that one, and then we're going to do exactly the same on this one. So I'm just folding them to give them a little bit of a start, and then hopefully I won't go wonky. Right, so that's our little tabby piece, and then we've got the first 1, 2, 3. So you can see each one now is scored to make that little box. So the easiest way I've found to do tape or glue or whatever you want is to fold over one section with this little tab bit. That's where we're going to put the glue flat. And this works exactly the same if you're using glue or tear and tape or red liner tape. We're just going to run some glue down there and then fold over the left hand side and give that a good burnish. Same on this one. So I'm folding over one section with the tab showing, and then it's just literally a case of folding over the other section to meet the glue. Okay, and there's our little cylinders. So we've got one that's taller than the other. So the taller one we're going to put on the back, and the smaller one is going to go in between the other layers. Right, I'm just going to put those to dry for a minute, and then we're going to bring in our arches. So the first thing we're going to do, we are going to stamp on the back. Honestly, my mat is not great on my cut and emboss. So you could always back that with another piece. So I'm just going to stamp happy birthday on this one, so you can write on the back. There we go, and I've stamped that in Misty Moonlight. Okay, and then I've got some designer series paper here. This is the Delicate Whispers. They're in foiled on one side, but I actually really like this, so we're going to use this side. So let's turn that back over again. And it's not often I glue on a foiled side, but I really like that blue. The blue on that is actually one of our new in colours, Hydrangea Hue, which I haven't actually got yet. Right, and we are going to... The other thing with using wet glue is it gives us a little bit of wiggle room if you don't press it down until you've got it where you want it. So that's our back layer. Now this middle layer, we are going to do some stamping on again, and I've got one of the stamps from the Delicate Whispers, and I've got some Mossy Meadow ink. Now this is a photopolymer stamp set, whereas the greeting was from a red rubber stamp set, so we need to have a stamp mat, and I'm just stamping that round the curve like that, so it shows when the card's folded and stood up. Okay, oh, I didn't get a very good image there, did I? Okay, so that's that layer. And then on our final layer, we've got some designer series paper, and this time I am using the foiled side again from the Delicate Whispers. It's got sort of a grey on the back, so we're just going to glue that down to our third arch. Try not to get your glue, if you're using wet glue, too near the edge, otherwise it squidges out. Okay, so this one's going on here. Just try and make sure we've got it level before we press it down. Yeah, okay, and then give it a good press down once you've got it where you want it. Okay, so there are 3 layers. Next thing we need to do is put our boxes together. So you don't have to, but I think it looks neater if you get the join at the back. So for this first box, if you flatten it out, that's where our join is, along there. We're going to put our glue along the bottom. Again, I'm using glue. You can use red liner tape or tear and tape, whichever takes your fancy. I've just got a little bit of glue on my mat there, and I know if I don't wipe it up now, I'll end up with it everywhere. I'm just wiping this up with a baby wipe, but make sure you don't get your cardstock near a wet area. Otherwise it'll mark the card. I'll just give that a minute to dry off. Okay, so we have got our arch with its paper on, and we've got our first box, and we've glued at the bottom of the box with it flat. Now what we need to do is turn that over, and we need to line up the bottom of the box that we've made with the bottom edge of the arch that's in Whisper White. So don't line it up with your DSP, it needs to be lined up so that when you stand it up, it hits the deck, as it were. So that's that one. Then we need to put our next layer on. So this time we're going to put the glue on the top, again with it folded down flat, and the glue goes on the top of the folded cylinder. That's not a cylinder, is it? Cuboid. You knew what I meant. Okay, now this time we need to line this one up with the fold line in our box, whatever you like to call it. And that is going to go on there. Now this is where I got a bit wonky last time, and I ended up with, done it again this time, the other way around. Trying to do it under a camera, it's not that helpful. That's going to go there like that, so that then pops up like that. I'm just going to give it a good press down, make sure that's stuck. And then we need our next box, and again we're going to fold it flat. I've got the join at the back, and we are going to put the glue at the bottom again, so we're repeating what we did on the first layer. Okay, and we're going to line this one up with the bottom of our second arch, because again when it stands up that needs to be flat. So there we go, so that's going to go like that, and then our last arch is going to go on. So again, glue on the top half this time, and we're going to line the bottom of this third arch section up with the fold line on our little box. And the arch is very slightly wider than the box, but only by millimeters. Okay, we'll give that a good line up like that. Okay, so there we have the basis of our card, and you can fold it the other way to make sure that you've got them flat. And again, I've done it again, it's a bit wobbly. Okay, obviously my eye's a bit off. Okay, and then we just need something to go on to the front of that. So you could leave it plain like that, which I think looks quite nice, or you could stamp. What have I done with my stamps? There they are. One of the other elements from the stamp set. So I'm going to pull out the little flower with the leaves. I'm just going to stamp that onto a scrap of Whisper White, if I can, basic white even. What have I done with it? I had a pack here. What have I done with it? Going completely mad. What have I done with it? This is what happens when you get crafting, your desk gets busy. Okay, we'll go for this bit. Okay, so I'm going to stamp that this time in basic beige, I think, and then we can colour it in. Again, photopolymer, so bring my stamp mat in. Going forward, all of Stampin' Up stamp sets are going to be photopolymer. Okay, actually I'm going to stamp two of those because I need one for the other card. that I showed you at the beginning. Okay. I promise you that is basic beige, but it looks green. Okay, now there is a die for this, but by the time I've got up, found the die, put it in the die cutting machine, I might as well just cut it out. So I'm just gonna, normally I have everything prepared beforehand, so I haven't today. So I'm just going to fussy cut, and when you're fussy cutting, if you use the sort of back of the blade, it makes it easier to swing the scissors around, and obviously you move what you're cutting, not the scissors. So you can see I'm swinging the piece of cardstock round rather than trying to get the scissors round at an awkward angle. Cut around that little piece of grass. There we are. That's neater with the die, but that's quicker. Okay, I'm just gonna, actually I'm not gonna colour that, I'm gonna leave that as it is. Just digging on my desk for a dimensional for the back. And then we're gonna stick that, let me take my stamping mat out of the way. We're going to stick that onto the front like that. There we go. There's our finished card. So you can see the mechanism there now. So it doesn't look it on the screen, but it is level along here. So when the recipient takes it out of its envelope, it will stand up like that. But you can fold it flat for fitting it into a standard size envelope. Okay, so that's our card. Hope you like it, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks for watching and happy stamping.